Welcome to the Win, Make, Give podcast. Chad Hyams here, Bob Stewart over there. Bob, how are you doing today?
Chad, I'm good. I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I'm noticing there's usually meaning to your hat. And I'm noticing, I believe it's Minnie Mouse.
It is Minnie Mouse.
That's on. And what made Bob Stewart not wear the same hat he defaults to every day and pull out the Minnie Mouse hat today?
You know what's weird? Well, I could make something up. Like, I have a sick child home from school today, and his name is Carter, but we affectionately in our home refer to him as Minnie. So his name is Minnie around here. So I could say this is an homage to my...
Hang on then. Do you think you're setting him up for years of therapy with the nickname Minnie?
No, man. Minnie but mighty. Minner, our little
Minnie
winner.
Mouse. I mean, Minnie Mouse is a girl. Carter's not.
Minner, our little winner. No, dude. This child is an absolute, like mental giant. So no, I don't think that giving him the nickname Minnie is going to stunt him in any way later in life.
Got it.
Funny enough, he's sitting right here next to me because he is homesick from school today. He's looking through the basketball cards. His mom gave him a directive that he needs to get rid of the commons, so he's going through and pulling out the rookies and the inserts, and he's doing some work over here. So he heard me say all of that, but yeah, he's. I don't think that a nickname is gonna do him wrong.
All right. So the hat,
we call him that because he was like a mini version of his little brother. Honestly, Chad, So a long time ago, I used to try to find a hat when we'd have a certain guest,
correct,
or something. And so just today, all I had under my desk was, and you can see this, I got a place hat, a Brivity hat, another place hat. And this is the only other hat I had under my desk. And so I don't know. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to wear something different. So I don't know. I grabbed this one.
There you go. Okay.
There's no meaning.
So there's no hidden meaning to the Minnie Mouse hat, and we can move on, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, but thanks for noticing. I appreciate it. Anytime somebody recognizes my choice in ball cap or a sneaker, it makes my little heart happy, which is ridiculous and stupid, but there it is.
Unless you start sitting differently, I will never make a comment on your footwear when we get together for the podcast. The hat I will absolutely bring up. Bob, we built today's episode, and I want to give a shout out and tell you what inspired today's topic.
Okay.
Because you deserve to hear it too.
Okay.
I got a message earlier this week. Now, I'm not going to say what week this is. This person whose name I'm about to say, they'll know because I got the message earlier this week, and we're recording this. Now, we don't know when it'll drop. Paula Miranda sent me a message this week that said, "Hey, Chad, Paula Miranda here. I am one of your 7 that watches and listens to Win, Make, Give. I hope it's more than 7. I share it all the time in my circle, and you guys have helped me so much during this season of my life." So, Bob, I wanted to share that with you. And then I thanked her for being one of the 7, of course.
The audience grows, Chad. We've gone from your mom and my mom to 7. Thank you, Paula.
We appreciate it. I asked her, was there a topic she would love for us to approach? And she came back to me about 2 hours later and said, look, she's newer to the podcast, and she's been skimming around, kind of jumping around, listening to some. She didn't know if we had done an episode or hadn't found one on this topic yet, which is how to win at business and not lose yourself as a person. And we've done stuff like this. And I said to her, oh yeah, they're out there. Yet if you're asking, that means we haven't done it recently. We need to address this subject. Bob, people think that work-life balance is still possible for some reason. And it makes me cringe when I hear people talk about work-life balance. Today, we are going to talk instead about the ambition trap on how you can win at business without losing your soul, because that is something important.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think that the idea of work-life balance is a valid idea, Chad, right? It's this concept that you're not being like sucked into, that you're not abandoning your family and you're not missing your kids' sports games and you're not, never having time to take the partner out to dinner or whatever, right? Like the aim that people would say, look, I want to have a balanced work life and home life. Like I think it's a noble thing.
Yes.
You believe that like there's no such thing, but I think the pursuit of balance is there's nothing, wrong with that, right?
Sure. Okay, maybe. I think there is something wrong with the pursuit of balance. Yes.
Okay.
I do.
Okay.
And we have an outline, and let's just jump right into that concept. Forget the outline right now, right? And just attack this. I believe when we are balanced, what it means is we are not willing to go out of balance.
Oh.
And when we stay balanced, Bob, you don't go on your vacation. You mentioned in a recent episode that you're on your way to Cabo shortly for a vacation with the family and stuff. I hope you are completely out of balance and don't attempt
100% family at that point, 0% work. Yeah.
Right. I don't want you answering any of the emails that I send you every week or the text messages that I send you. I don't expect to see you on the podcast. I would want to know that you're doing stuff with your family and you have not attempted to say, well, I have to balance it. I understand someone's going to say, well, I'm going to take a week off and then I'm going to work for a week. Okay. That's not the balance. We want extreme. Because you're not going to build something big if you're attempting to stay balanced at work, because you're going to be like, oh, well, I got to remember the kids or I got to get home to the family and stuff like that. Instead of saying, no, I'm diving in deep. And when this is done, what I will do is look at the scale that's tipped. And now I will attempt to bring it back into balance by spending some time the other way so that the whole scale comes to a center point, Bob.
Okay. So you're I get it. You're slicing it up a little bit different. You're saying that there will absolutely, in building something, be times where it feels out of balance. It's impossible to live in this, this fairyland of a balanced work and home life, and that it's okay that it gets out of balance as long as long term, Chad, it's not consistently out of balance. Is that?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
When you look up at the end of the year, you should be able to say, okay, over the year, the scale is balanced. Yet if you don't have a week where your family's looking at you like, who are you? You're not going hard enough at the work stuff to grow it to the level that you want. And then if you don't have a time where the office people are saying, where have you been? Right? You didn't go hard enough on making that family and having those memories and those moments, Bob. Yet at the end of the year, from a big, far away perspective on it, we should see what appears to be a little more balance.
All right. Okay. That makes sense. So let's maybe, and I don't know if I took us off track.
I have no idea.
Okay, let's go back into this idea of like winning at business without just becoming a soul sucking 100% focused to the detriment of my friends and my family and my kids. Like let's dive in on this a little bit.
Yeah. So, Bob, I want people to know Harvard Business Review. They do a lot of studies, right? They're really smart people over there at Harvard. Bob, you know how you know if somebody went to Harvard?
They'll tell you. Yeah. We just interviewed somebody from Harvard.
Yes,
I don't know if it'll drop before this or after this. He's like a teacher at Mr.
How many times did Harvard get mentioned, right? Okay. So the data from one of their studies where they tracked high-performing executives found that 72% of leaders admitted that their intense work focus caused severe damage to their personal relationship and their mental well-being. We are not wishing upon you that you have damage to your personal relationships and your mental well-being. We want to cover today how you can win at business and still not lose your soul by finding some semblance of counterbalance, making the scales go back and forth, not saying, oh, I did an hour of work, I need an hour with the family, et cetera, Bob. That's what we're going to talk about here today.
Okay. I like it.
All right. So in business, our feedback loop is very immediate. It's very highly visible, right? You have metrics at work. We have listeners. We can go look at the metrics of the podcast and see how many people actually did listen. Thankfully, it's more than 7, or Bob and I would probably not still be here, right? You can check on the scale and the size of your business, the results of your phone calls that you made. There is instant feedback on that loop. In our personal lives, though, it's not the same, right? A
Yeah.
nurturing marriage, raising your kids, having mindfulness, as Ben has talked about, that's a delayed response. You don't know that your kids are going to be good kids until later.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a delayed response. So we find a problem of how do I judge this one and judge that one to find this balance thing? Bronnie Ware palliative care study, right, was in the top 5 regrets of the dying. You've probably heard the book. A lot of people have. The number one regret was, I wish I hadn't worked so hard.
These are people on their deathbeds, essentially, in hospice or whatever, and they're asking them in their final weeks of life, "What's your number one professional regret?" And it was, "I work too much."
Right. I wished I hadn't worked so hard so that I had more time. Look, I want experiences. You want the Kentucky Derby. Other people hopefully came up with stuff on the carousel ring. If you don't work for it, Bob, you're not going to be able to afford those opportunities. The person who says, I wish I hadn't worked so hard and really lives that way. I'm not telling everybody we got to just go be grinders. Yet the person who just said, I'm going to take that easy job, take it easy, they're probably not having a lot of the experiences you've been able to have with your wife, with your kids on your own because of opportunity you've created through work success.
Yeah. Chad, one of the, I would assume there's a few people left listening that had joined us along the way. Originally, Chad, 6 years ago, we did a second version of this 3 years ago. Is that when we did the updated, improved Wealth series?
Yeah, it was about 3 years ago.
But I think one of the best things that ever happened to me, like to get to this idea, and if we're not calling it, by the way, work-life balance, what are we calling it? Like, what are we calling your definition of what we should be striving for?
Our friend Jay Papazon and Gary, they refer to it as counterbalance in the one thing.
If I'm looking for this kind of, optimal counterbalance, I think one of the things that was a really big win for me was the exercise during the Wealth series, where we went and figured out, like, how much do I need to have in order to retire with the life that I want?
Yes.
And the reason for that is because it kind of defined this, I don't know, maybe we call it like the wealth ceiling. Like, I don't need, Chad, to have $1 billion, right? Like, the life that I want to live has a target now.
It costs them $2 million, right? We're just
it's 4 million, or it's 6, or it's 2, or it's whatever it is. But it gives me now kind of a map, right, to define the boundaries around, like, how much do I want to pour in professionally? Right? Like, without that, then I know these people. I've seen these people. It's like they're just doing it for more.
Yes.
I don't know, the bigger house, the better vacation, the more, I don't know, the fancier Wagyu steak or whatever. But there's no, like, that is
it
a recipe.
Wagyu or Wagyu?
I don't know. I think it's Wagyu now that you say it. Okay. Wagyu. I've not in my retirement plan, so I'm not concerned about it. But there becomes this, like, undisciplined pursuit of more.
Yes,
that will lead to the
that's the
title of the yeah
right. You're right, and it's hard to say, especially to some of our younger listeners. It's hard to say at age 25, age 30. Oh, I need this much, right? You don't know what things are going to cost. You don't know what you're going to want and need. Maybe you don't have kids yet, and maybe you want them, and now all of a sudden that changes something. We don't know yet. You're right, Bob. We need some sort of, I think you called it a wealth ceiling or something. You just kind of threw that comment away. I think I heard you use the word, right? That we need to figure out that boundary, because otherwise it just becomes more, and then there's no reason to stop doing it. And that's when we find ourselves losing ourselves in this success. So Bob, high performers and high achievers usually tie themselves to performance metrics. Like, when was the last time you got an award for being top husband?
Right.
My wife can't walk by, and I see.
So my wife works from home, and she's actually down here in the basement right now, Chad. So you can see me. Our audience can. I looked over, and she can't hear us though. She can only hear me, and because you're in my headphones.
So you're not going to answer that right now?
Honey, I was just asked, when's the last time I got an award for being the top husband?
From who?
No, from
she said her answer was from who?
From who? Oh, so you can't hear her. Okay. Yeah. No, I mean, look, I'm not looking for an award for being the top husband, but yeah, to your point, right?
There's top salesperson.
There's not a metric tied to that thing, right?
Right. And top dad. Yeah, on Father's Day, you get the card that says you're the best dad.
I do have a couple like number one dad trophies. I think my son made something when he was like in third grade, or when he was 3 in kindergarten that says like, I am the world's best dad. So
yet go to the store and you're going to find the top sales associate. You're going to find the top person in a business. And a lot of high achievers tie themselves to that, Bob, performance metrics that can truly be like counted like that, right? And if your business went away, who are you, right? If you got fired or the business closed, all of a sudden, how do a lot of people define themselves? They don't. So does your calendar, and I'm not trapping you in a calendar conversation, yet I'm asking our audience, does your calendar have health, have family time, have you time, or is it just a work schedule? Because if your calendar is just a work schedule with nothing else, folks, you're way out of balance. Because you're not even putting it on your calendar and saying, well, I'm going to work out here. I'm going to go on a date night with the partner here. I'm going to have the time with the kids here. Little things like that. I want you to understand that, because the American Psychological Association showed that individuals who will practice a structured disconnect from work, like you'll actually have it on your calendar and do it. Maybe that's your family routine. Maybe that's your health. Maybe it's mindfulness. They will have a 32% reduction, Bob, in burnout, which is a massive change from what most people have.
I'll be honest, like for me personally, this has been easier since I've had children, I think, just because there are definitely things on our calendar, right, that are like me disconnected from work, whether it's, taking my son to basketball practice, bingo. Or bingo card. I used to coach them, right? We've kind of gotten away from this recently, but my wife and I had the date night on the calendar when grandma used to come over every Wednesday night. But like, so I think prior to being married to this amazing lady and having these kids, I definitely did not have any structured. And I honestly would probably have felt more burned out in those Active Rain and Brio Realty days where it was just like consumed by work. Yeah. And the stuff that was not work was never scheduled. It was just like we got off work and then you went and did something, but it was, inconsistent, and there was definitely a consumption of it.
Right. And Bob, you go to your son's basketball game and he appreciates that you're there. I'm sure of it. Yet do you have other time with the boys on your calendar that's purposeful time to be with them, to do your baseball cards, to do your, Lego building, to do watching?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, 100%. Like that's very much. So
your wife doesn't deserve what your kids deserve?
There's plenty of things on the calendar for us too.
Okay.
She do have drives most of that, but yeah.
You just said date night was missing. I want to make sure.
Well, just that particular every Wednesday night is off, and so, but we got the check-in times and things for just us. And
here's the thing, folks. I've done the calendar class before. I've taken Bob through it. I am happy if that's what we need to bring back a calendar class. Here's the thing: don't schedule business first and then force your life into the gaps. Right? You need to schedule your life and business. There's no one goes before the other. There's one helps the other. And in certain weeks, it's going to be more family. In certain weeks, it's going to be more business. In certain weeks, it's going to be more just Bob time, right? Whatever that is.
Chad, can I make a bold claim here? I want to make a bold claim because, this, I think where we're going to head next is this idea of like, the cost, the hidden cost of saying yes to things, right? So it's like every time I say yes to that late night phone call, that text message that came in on the weekend that totally could have waited until Monday because the thing they're talking about is a banking thing and it's not even friggin' open on Sunday. Like, every time I do that, right, I'm obviously saying no to something, to my family, to my boys, to my wife,
everything.
But here's here's my hot take here. Okay. The people that allow this to happen, it's likely because they are not scheduling the business time effectively.
Yes.
Right. And look, I'll just go straight to our industry because I'm the most aware of it, and I see the way that people act in it, and the people that like Ben Kinney never had to take the Friday night at 9 p.m. phone call because he had the work scheduled on Friday morning from 9 to noon.
Right.
Like he built a business, a pipeline, a source of revenue because he committed to the consistency of showing up in that business over and over every day at the same time.
Yes.
And when you're inconsistent there, it forces you to feel like you got to take that call on Friday night because that business matters enough that you let it interrupt the family because you weren't serious enough on the other side about creating like an actual business that ran on your timing, not on the timing of the guy that's calling you at 9 o'clock on a Friday.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like, I feel like
100.
Most of the time we do we make the yeses because we haven't been diligent enough in protecting when we should have been, executing on the business. So
100%, Bob Stewart, right? We don't do it because we don't plan it. When was the last time you called your doctor in the evening and they answered? They don't, because they schedule their appointments during the day. This is when the doctor is going to be available. This is when you can call into the office. This is when you can come see him. You're not going to see him at 9 o'clock at night because the doctor's not there. He's controlling his schedule. Same thing with a lawyer. Same thing freaking with your hairdresser for the ladies out there.
Totally.
Bob, right? You can't just go get a massage whenever you want. You got to book that stuff. Yet in our industry, which is real estate sales, our people don't act as professional as every other industry out there. They just say, well, what do you want? If your hairdresser said, well, what do you want? If the doctor said, when do you want to come in? Everybody would either be there all at once or nobody would ever be there, and they'd all be on call 24/7. Let me ask you this, Bob. Give me a restaurant you really like.
Din Tai Fung. Din Tai Fung, they do. Yeah, I love that place. It's like my favorite.
Din Tai Fung. Do they have hours of operation?
They do.
Okay. So you can't have it at 10 a.m. if you wanted.
That is correct.
You can't have it at 3 in the morning if you wanted it.
Well, I don't do that anymore, but I used to try to find food at 3 in the morning. But yeah, no.
Yeah, it was called Denny's.
It was.
Right? They're open 24 hours. IHOP, they're open 24 hours. Folks, you can be the Denny's of your business.
Yeah, right.
Or you can be the, what was the name of your, thank you, Din Tai Fung, right?
Yeah.
Whatever restaurant it is, because hours of operation say, we're only open during this time. You want it. Folks, fast food, I'm not getting into the argument here over who's the best, what's the best. Chick-fil-A seems to be one of the most preferred fast food restaurants of fast food choices. Guess what? They're closed Sunday, Bob.
They are.
Right? They're closed Sunday. They have said hours of operation. You can't have our food on Sunday. We won't be here making it. And people choose to go there Monday through Saturday. And on Sunday, they do something else. You can do the same thing. If you want some sort of counterbalance in your life, it starts with hours of operations, Bob.
I firmly agree. And I think that we try to solve it the wrong way. Like the way to solve it is not just because here's what, like, practically, if I'm not doing the work in a defined window, Chad.
Yes.
Then
I'm not serving the food from the hours I'm open, I have to be open other hours.
Right. And so it's like, okay, if I'm not doing the work in some defined timing, then I can't, like, you can't start the other way. You can't just wake up and go, you know what? I'm not answering the phone at 9 o'clock anymore. Because the anxiety and the stress of that potential missed business opportunity because you weren't working earlier on your schedule from 9 to noon or whatever time you're going out to find revenue for your business, then you could say to yourself, I'm not going to do it, but I guarantee you will do it. You will answer the phone. You will reply to that text that maybe it'll just be 15 minutes later after you got done with your talking to your boy, but he's still going to see that you're over there replying to that text. So I really believe it doesn't just start by deciding I'm just not going to answer the call late or say yes to the thing that I probably shouldn't have. It starts with, like, being dedicated. That gives you the freedom to say, I'm not answering this call at 9. They can wait for a call back tomorrow at when I do business.
That's a brilliant comment and point you bring up, Bob, right? The reason we are panicked and answering the phone and saying yes when we should be saying no to something like a business call is because we're not doing our business when we're supposed to do our business. And if you did your job when you told yourself you're going to do your job, you wouldn't feel guilty when the phone rings and you're with your kids of not answering it. Because what happens then is you're not present. You're not in the living room. You're not at the kitchen table. You're sitting there thinking about the phone call. And even if you don't answer it, you're having the shakes about, I wonder what they were calling about. I wonder what I should be. I wonder what, and you're not paying attention any longer. You want to lose your soul. That's how it starts, Bob. Excellent point. Do your job when you're supposed to do your job so that you can find something closer to balance by being able to have the time with the people that matter.
It's amazing. Like, I don't know when this became, like, as crystal clear obvious to me as it is today. I don't think it was any one moment in time, Chad, but it's amazing how what we all seek is this, like, incredible flexibility to live the life we want to live, but the path to that flexibility is actually in, like, very rigid commitment and consistency, right? It's like if you be consistent for this time, you can actually, live the most kind of carefree, do whatever I want, make whatever decisions I want type of life. And people get it backwards, man. They think I want that carefree, do whatever I want. I want to be Ben Kinney, and I can go to the baseball card show this weekend, and next weekend I could go hunting, and I could take my boys to the game, and I could do. But that comes because I'm willing to be consistent somewhere in really the most kind of important aspect, which is how do we earn money here? Ben still to this day has what I think from the outside would look to many people like this incredibly flexible, cool life that gets to do all these things, but it still goes back to that time every morning where you can't get this guy because he's out actually doing the work that brings in revenue for the business, and he's super consistent about it, and it's every day, and you're not going to get him off of that model in his life, but that creates all that flexibility and freedom and gives him a chance to live a life that's not sucking his soul, but because he's so dedicated to the consistency of that the activity that. And here's the deal: every single one of you listening, you know what that thing you should be doing during that time is.
Amen. Amen to that. All right, here's a question I want you to write down, because I challenge every listener to ask this question of at least 3 people that it matters to over this next week. And I will allow one of those people to be the reflection of yourself in the mirror, right? Am I truly present when I'm here, or am I just taking up space? Go ask that of your partner. Go ask that of your children that aren't, 4 years old and don't even understand. Go ask that of your parent. Go ask that of your business partner if you have. Go ask that of yourself by sitting in front of a mirror and asking the question, Am I truly present when I'm here? Or am I just taking up space? Because if you want success and you want something called balance, be where your feet are. It was a quote I heard years ago. I can't remember who's told me. And it was, be where your feet are. Bob, you have right now people running around the space you record your podcasts in. You've been here. You haven't been distracted having a conversation with them. You haven't been trying to play with them at the same time. You've been here. Now, when we click the button that we're done,
I'm going to be there, Chad. Yeah, I'm going to totally turn around my chair. My son's sitting behind me. He's got the baseball cards out. The basketball cards are out. And I'm going to spend some time with him doing something we love doing together.
And don't check your email. And don't worry if the phone rings. Folks, we want to help you. So if you have a question, if you have a topic you want us discussing like Paula did, just reach out to me. Reach out to Bob and say,
no, don't reach out to me. Like, it's highly likely that I'll respond and be like, that's an amazing idea, but I'll never actually bring it to life like Chad does. Reach out to Chad.
There you go. Good point. Reach out to me. You know how to find me, folks. And until our next episode, as always, do good.